are not part of it. Is this something that you would like to see state governments also make their own pronouncement on this, along this line?
Yeah, certainly. We would like the state government to come in as well. But the federal government starting is a very good one, because when the federal government leads, the states will surely follow. I think everybody recognizes the right thing to do. But unfortunately, the leaders, which is the federal government, has not been showing that much interest. When the federal government shows the interest, it's a natural thing. The state governments will follow, and then the average Nigerian will also follow. There are lots of industries that will also patronize each other. There are lots of businesses in Nigeria, that will also want to embrace this. And if the federal government is showing that leadership, I believe the state governments will also follow, the local governments will follow, and then the ordinary Nigerians will also follow. But we're happy about this start. It's actually a start, and it's the right direction to go. And I believe that if this is sustained, like I said earlier, the implementation is usually the problem. A lot of times the federal government makes pronouncements, even the state government make pronouncements, and the people who are to implement it put a stud somewhere along the line. So I hope that this will be implemented to the letter, and then it's a natural thing. Others will follow.
That's the hope of everyone else. I mean, it's no doubt a very good policy. Implementation, of course, no doubt very key. Mr. Frank Onyebo, thank you very much for coming on the program. Thanks a lot for your time, sir. All right, that's how much we can take on the program this week. Well, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
If the essence of government is the security and welfare of the people, then as long as there's plenty, poverty is evil. Affluent poverty. That's what we live in Nigeria. We're living in affluent poverty. The news recently broke that a British international primary school, Charterhouse, located somewhere in Lekki, Lagos, was charging as much as 42 million per annum as school fees for its pupil in a poor country like ours. However, the school management issued a statement clarifying the claim that the school fees are currently 26 million naira per annum and not 42 million. Oh boy, now wow. 26 million as school fees per annum for Pekin when they primary school in a poor country like Nigeria, where many states can't even pay 30,000 naira as minimum wage. And many of our public schools in the country are public slums. And unemployment rate is frightening as fraud is now celebrated as a profession. 26 million. Well, I know some of you will go to defend them now. They say, if education is expensive, try ignorance. And others will say, well, it's the school is attended by expatriate, kids of expatriate. Even at that, maybe for Nigeria that they make the money, whether they pay the expatriate salary, must education be beyond the poor in a country like Nigeria, where ostentatious lifestyle is the attitude of government? So if you pay 26 million naira for a kid in primary school, that means you go pay 62 million naira for that kid in secondary school. And maybe 112 million for the same child when he enter university. And then the child will graduate, there won't be jobs. And then you send the child abroad. Is that not overhead? Go to countries like Poland, Germany, Czech Republic. Charles University and the University of Warsaw are some of the cheapest universities where top-tier programs are offered at an affordable rate. Although universities in all the Nordic countries are relatively affordable, but public universities in Norway remain free for everybody from both within and outside the EU, with the exception of a few specialized programs. But here in Nigeria, go to Edo University in Iyamo. It is ranked as the most expensive state-owned university in Nigeria. Yet, the other state university, Edo State University in Ekpoma, under the previous administration of Godwin Obaseki, suffered from lack of infrastructure and adequate funding. until the recent administration in Edo. So what that means is simply this: rich separated themselves from the poor. Now, wow. How many people still remember, the craze those days about British International School? But with the current school fees of 4.6 million and 6.8 million, for boarding, I guess the super rich now, when they pay 26 million as school fees for primary school children, would think, oh, that's poor. So came Chatham House, and yet government go look the other way in a poor country. We know job despite the expensive school, and you expect people not to steal? Yeah, well, what am I even saying? What can government do? When even Nile University in Abuja, where most of our government officials and Abuja politicians, they go get their degree, especially in law, no come cheap. And even some churches, when collect tithe and offering from members to build schools, most of these members that contributed the tithe and offering cannot afford to send their children to these schools. So what do you expect? Even recently, remember Wigwe University in Isiokpo in Rivers State was in the news, not for the death of its founder, but as the most expensive university in Nigeria, with school fees ranging from 12 million naira. And some of these fees are priced in dollars. And our government is pretending to be looking for solution to our dollar problem, while they turn a blind eye to this open segregation in a country where our collective welfare is supposed to be their responsibility. Oh boy, to your tent, oh Israel. You won't blame them though. Don't you see how we openly spray monies in parties as if money is going out of fashion? So that's why they think we are rich. Yet, there are no roads to our villages and insecurity is ravaging the country. Even as our public officials drive around our dilapidated road and public slums in exotic and expensive cars, the cars will neither produce nor assemble here. Yet, with retinue of aides and barrage of mobile police, where the future generations are either emerged in prostitution, hookup, or fraud, I beg no verse, yahoo, as a means of livelihood. Outrageous display of affluent poverty, you would say. This is the reason why some properties without any special infrastructure around them in some area, some area never get road, apart from the fact that there's so much money to waste, are so expensive and priced in dollars in places like Maitama, Sokoro, and environs in Abuja, and Banana Island, and in some places in Lagos, in a poor country like Nigeria, than properties in Miami waterfront in rich America. So no matter how much we all condemn or criticize these things, it will not go away, because the reality is that most Nigerians want to be like these people who are physically rich but mentally poor. As we only criticize them when we are poor, but the moment we become rich or hold public office, we will create segregation, poor and the rich. We move over to expensive slums like Lekki, send our children to special schools, meant only for the rich, occupy government positions and steal public funds, ride expensive cars without identifiable or sustainable means of livelihood, and display wealth irresponsibly and spray endlessly at parties. That's just our life. So, go stop. So if I lie, anyway, check those occupying public offices today. Between 15 and 12 years ago, they were mostly critics of the attitude of the government then. But today, they are all in government and repeating exactly what they once criticized, even if not even worse. So I will therefore advocate, until we see government as a vehicle for public good, social justice, creating job opportunities, infrastructural development, equality, and a vehicle for impacting our community positively, people will continue to chase wealth, material possession, and position as a way of life and end up not living at all. Government must take job creation as a priority and endeavor to consciously and consensuously celebrate and compensate hard work and create regulation in every sector to avoid a society of wealth without work. The attitude where government officials are at the forefront of displaying affluence in the midst of poverty must be discouraged, as it pushes people to acquire wealth without work. Lastly, our orientation should help improve our mindset to the fact that voluntary and selfless service helps write our name in gold in the sand of time. That even when we die, our name will be so engraved in the heart of the world that time will never erase it. Well, I don't want to talk too much. Make I pause and here to enable you make your own contribution in all our social media platforms shown on your screen. Also help us to share the message so that we can collectively change our society. For no matter how expensive education is, without commensurate effort to promote and create job opportunities, you will still end up as poor. No be me talker. Remember, the luxuries of today are the necessities of tomorrow. See you next week.
On the news, one person killed, 6 others injured in Anambra market gas explosion. Defense chief blames Nigeria's porous borders for jihadists' invasion. And Tinubu receives Oyo Monarch, 6 more collaboration with traditional leaders. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Simsala Antikun. One person has been confirmed dead and 6 others injured in a plumbing market along Uga Street near Onitsha Bridge Head Market in Anambra State, southeast Nigeria. The spokesperson for the police command in Anambra, Tochukwu Ikenga, who confirmed the development in a statement on Saturday, explained that the explosion happened at a plumbing market along Uga Street on Friday. According to him, preliminary information revealed that the explosion happened while a welder was working on metal with carbide. He noted that the police operatives have taken steps to secure the area and prevent criminal-minded persons from taking advantage of the situation to commit crimes. As Nigeria grapples with long-running insurgency in the northeast, security sources in the country have confirmed that at least 23 farmers and fishermen have been killed and others abducted by suspected Islamist militants this week in Borno State. The report was released by counter-insurgency publication focused on the Lake Chad region, Zagazola Makama, after suspected government disappear and nutrition abortion to a soldiers alarm as and 3 of us with from the state attacks and kidnappings in the state, reversing previous gains by security forces. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has warned that jihadist factions expelled from the Central Sahel were slipping across Nigeria's vast borders and stoking fresh violence in the north and middle belt. The army chief revealed this to newsmen after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu, where he pledged tighter border security, fresh air assets and closer coordination with states to neutralize the threats. Musa said he is working with governors to provide synergy for the military's operations across states. He also urged citizens to report suspicious activity and to ignore recycled combat videos circulating as fake news.
Our meeting is for us to review the entire security situation in the country. The president is concerned about what's going on, and we have reassured him that we're on top of our game. We're working extremely very hard. What has happened of recent is that there's a global push by terrorists and jihadists all over the Sahel area, and that pressure is what actually came into Nigeria because of the nature of our borders. And so we have, Mr. President has given directives as to what to do next for us to intensify all efforts, collaborate with all our sister countries around, because it is the porous nature that is coming there that is actually aggravating our own issues on ground. And so all our theaters have been enhanced, equipment have been bought. Mr. President has also given us much approvals for air assets and other aspects of security. And like we said, it's not only the kinetic effort, the non-kinetic aspects that is most important. The President is also looking at the aspects of also discussing with the government for their own support, buy-in in ensuring that dividends of democracy also extends to the communities to be able to stamp down the issue of insecurity. And we're working together. You can see we're together with the National Security Advisor, the NSA, the DGDSS and all other ones. So we are working together as a team. And you can see us here, members of the armed forces, working in unity, including the police, to make sure that Nigeria is peaceful. And that is our mandate, and that will work towards. We want to appeal to all Nigerians not to get tired. And they should be wary of fake news. There's a lot of fake news that has been spread out, making it look, most of the videos being circulated are videos from other countries or old videos, making it look as if it is new. And you know, you always want to wonder, why do some individuals feel happy when things go bad in their country? If Nigeria is destroyed, all of us will go down. And so it is important that we all cooperate with members of the armed forces and security agencies. If we see something that is going wrong anywhere in the country, let us report. Action will be taken, including our own personnel. If we see them doing what is not supposed to be done, they should take a report and we'll take action.
And in maritime security, 2025 has come to a successful conclusion after 3 days of intense multinational maritime security operations. This year's exercise, which took place in the Gulf of Guinea, brought together 32 nations, including Nigeria, the United States, Spain, and several other African countries. As the exercise came to a close, the flag officer commanding the Nigerian Navy's Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Michael Gregory Oamen, addressed participants, emphasizing the importance of regional collaboration and the lessons learned during the event. TV360's Okwayemi Owosheni has details.
Held in the Gulf of Guinea, Exercise Obangame Express 2025, a multinational maritime security exercise, served as a key platform for strengthening international cooperation, particularly in combating piracy, arms trafficking, and illegal fishing. It was a joint effort among African, European, and American forces, with 32 nations participating in various at-sea and in-port operations. As part of the operation, Nigeria deployed 6 ships, 2 helicopters, and specialized forces. Speaking at a debrief held at the Nigerian Navy ship Beecroft in Lagos, Rear Admiral Mohammed reflected on the importance of regional cooperation and acknowledged the seamless coordination between participating navies and agencies.
Exercise Obangame Express, an annual multinational maritime sea exercise, which was initiated by the United States in conjunction with navies of the Gulf of Guinea nations. The exercise has grown exponentially since its inception in 2010 with the participation of more credible navies from Africa and Americas. We are therefore excited to have the Spanish warship Relamango joining up in this year's exercise. The Nigerian Navy on its own will be deploying 6 warships, 2 helicopters, and some maritime domain awareness capability assets, as well as elements of the Nigerian Navy Special Boat Services, also known as the SBS.
He also explained the focus of the 2025 operations in tackling pressing.
We are focusing on small arms and light weapon smuggling. We're doing everything possible to ensure that the Gulf of Guinea, which is very known for those kind of illicit activity, is well policed for this kind of military engagement, and ensure that the bad boys don't have access to start bringing in illegal weapons. So every year we have different focus. So for this year, this is the focus of Obangame Express for 2025.
The debrief also featured remarks from the officer in Tactical Command who reviewed the operations.
So far, we conducted several exercises. First of all is interrogation of the foreign or unknown vessel, followed by boarding of the vessel to search and even arrest suspected items, which we are expected small arms and narcotics. This was done where we sent our investigators on board and they confirm suspected items. Then the vessel accordingly and the people involved were arrested.
What Obangame Express does for the Nigerian Navy is that it supports our collaborative efforts in the region towards ensuring that the entire Gulf of Guinea is safe. As you're all aware, maritime security involves collaboration because the waters do not have walls or borders. So Obangame Express provides the opportunity to improve synergy between the Nigerian Navy and other navies and coast guards within our region, so that we work together, we understand what to do, and we can collaborate, share intelligence towards a safer Gulf of Guinea.
As Exercise Obangame Express 2025 concludes, the success of this year's exercise sets a strong precedent for future maritime security operations in the Gulf of Guinea. Okwayemi Owosheni, TV360 News, Lagos.
Away from security, President Bola Tinubu has said traditional institutions remain integral to the country's development and has called for more support in implementing policies that directly impact people's livelihoods. The president spoke when he received the 46th Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Abimbola Abdul Hakim Owade I, his wife, and a delegation of other traditional rulers from Oyo State at the presidential villa in Abuja. While congratulating the monarch for his ascendancy to the historic throne, Tinubu assured his administration will continue working with traditional institutions to implement policies to protect and prosper citizens.
It's a welcome success of Yoruba tradition. Your ascendance to the throne of your forefathers is historic. It's the will of God and the hands of the people. And you'll be the first Alaafin to be here. I really appreciate it. Your foresight for development, your humbleness, and the fact that you're upholding the tradition. This inherited tradition is the making of gold. Your ascendancy to the throne, like my being a president, is a divine will of God Almighty. I know the hurdles and the process and the anxiety that enveloped all of us during the process of nomination of the person to succeed the late Oba Lamid Ajeri. But to the wish of God and the good people of our race, it just came simple, peaceful, and through the hands of God Almighty. I congratulate you.
Diverse reactions have trailed the compulsory voting bill, which has scaled second reading at the House of Representatives as part of moves to amend the nation's Electoral Act of 2022. The bill, jointly sponsored by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas and lawmaker representing Plateau State Daniel Asama Ago, seeks to make voting in national and state elections mandatory for all citizens of voting age. The proposed legislation stipulates penalties for eligible voters who fail to vote without valid justification, including a fine of 100,000 naira, a 6-month jail term, or both. Reacting to the bill, a public affairs analyst and member, West Africa Democracy Solidarity Network, Amoru Yaibe, who spoke with TV360 Nigeria, says the nation's faulty electoral system cannot accommodate such legislation. He urged the government to build public trust, which he says is the foundation of a transparent electoral process.
In the U.S., there is trust. People post their ballot from Afghanistan to the U.S., and it counts. People post their vote. You post your ballot from Nigeria to the U.S., and it counts. If you post ballot from America to Nigeria for a Nigeria election, I'm sure that you and I will not allow it to happen. So, an electronic voting in this that will enhance trust is one. Go to the polling unit. Once you cast your vote, you get a paper ballot tray, and still put that ballot paper in the ballot box. You can only do with internet when you are done with the results count, the recounting. Make sure that they want the results the ballot on the box, align with the vote electronically. When that is done, party officials, police, observers agree that this is the same thing. It tallies. You write the result on the form EC8A and you transmit that from EC8A online. We are already doing electronic mechanism in our process. Just move to the voting. Number one, it will reduce cost. We have had that conversation, Mr. Deji, if you remember, that the cost of producing ballot in this country should even be criminalized. How can Nigeria waste so much money? And that's the essence of maybe making election compulsory. But rather than do that, we can reduce that cost by simply engaging electronic voting so that we cut cost of printing ballot papers that are not used. But before that, election must be seen to be free and fair. It's a perception thing. A situation in which the president is the sole appointee of INEC leadership does not even create room for trust. And the president, it is constitutional. I mean, we are not doubting it. It's his responsibility to appoint. But we are saying it does even conflict. It's more like a conflict of interest. That the president participating in an election will appoint the referee of the election. But I know that the constitution make that for him, but or for the president, not necessarily because it's President Bola Tinubu today. It is a constitutional provision that other presidents have enjoyed. But historically, we are already beginning to see that it is impacting on our trust system.
And in politics, following the defection of 3 senators of the People's Democratic Party PDP from Kebbi State to the ruling All Progressives Congress, the PDP says it remains strong and will continue to stand firm in the state. The Senate confirmed the defection of Senators Adamu Aliero representing Kebbi Central, Yahaya Abdullahi of Kebbi North Senatorial District, and Garba Maidoki from Kebbi South Senatorial Zone from the PDP to the APC. While expressing disappointment in the defections, the secretary for the PDP, Kebbi Chapter Abubakar Kalgo, who spoke on the station's flagship program, says the move will not reduce the party's strength or prospects in the state.
The campaign of Senator Adamu Aliero and the others did not affect our party. We stand on our feet, and I assure you, the whole party fixed rules are there. Nobody defected and follow them. In Kebbi State, PDP is strong and deeply rooted. I mean, at the grassroots. PDP is there at the grassroots. With the defection of these senators, I assure you, our people are very much disheartened with them. So instead of feeling discouraged, our people are now courageous, which we have been receiving their calls here and there, that which we have been receiving their calls that we shouldn't be shaken. Inshallah, they are together with the PDP, and they will make sure Aliero does not make any relevance in the next elections. And we have so many plans. By now, we have already calls of our stakeholders, those who remains in the PDP, excluding the 3 senators. We sat with them, and we have mapped a strategy that we are going to reach all the grassroots and make sure that PDP become, or as somebody who has come to the party and enjoy its ticket, its mandate. And those party faithful, they have voted for him. If there is any problem in the party, we are expecting him to stand and to the other party, especially with the situation that APC brings the Nigerians into. So we are very disheartened and very unfortunate for them. We don't expect them to do this. If there is any problem within the party, I think they are to stand and make sure the party stands on its feet.
We'll go on a short break. Coming up on News Now, United States Republicans joined the Democrats in blocking Trump's big tax breaks bills. We'll give you details shortly. Welcome back. Let's take you through our major stories. One person has been confirmed dead and 6 others injured in a gas explosion at a plumbing market along Uga Street near Onitsha Bridge Head Market in Anambra State, southeast Nigeria. We also told you that Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has warned that jihadist factions expelled from the Central Sahel are sleeping across Nigeria's vast borders and stoking fresh violence in the North and Middle Belt. In case you missed any of our news bulletins, or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the go-to app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
On business, the Nigerian government has announced the launch of a new online citizenship and business management platform designed to simplify business permit applications, help foreign companies hire skilled workers, and streamline Nigerian citizenship applications. In a statement signed by its permanent secretary, the Ministry of Interior revealed the new digital system is designed to reduce delays and offer a more user-friendly experience. This initiative forms a key part of the ministry's ongoing reforms aimed at promoting transparency, enhancing operational efficiency, and significantly improving service delivery to the public. And Nigeria's external reserves have recorded a sustained rebound for the first time in 2025, rising by $364 million between April 30 and May 14, 2025, marking the first consistent two-week upward trend in the country's foreign reserves since they peaked on January 6, 2025 at $40.92 billion. According to the latest figures published by the Central Bank of Nigeria, the gross external reserves stood at $37.934 billion on April 30 and reached $38.298 billion by May 14, reflecting a 0.96% increase in just 14 days. The new trajectory comes after months of gradual depletion and volatility, largely attributed to intense pressure from external debt repayments. On the foreign scene, in a major setback, the United States House Republicans have failed to advance their sweeping tax and spending package through the Budget Committee with a 16-21 vote. A group of hard-right conservatives joined Democrats in opposing the bill, demanding deeper cuts to Medicaid and green energy tax breaks. The defeat stalls House Speaker Mike Johnson's plan to move the bill forward next week. The committee will reconvene on Sunday as lawmakers continue weekend negotiations ahead of President Donald Trump's return from the Middle East. And the world's biggest poultry exporter, Brazil, has confirmed its first outbreak of bird flu on a commercial farm in the southern state of Rio Grande do Sul. The discovery has prompted China to impose a 60-day ban on Brazilian poultry imports, raising concerns about potential trade restrictions from other countries. Rio Grande do Sul accounts for 15% of Brazil's poultry production and exports, with major processors, BRF and JBS operating facilities in the region. Authorities have sealed off the outbreak area in Montenegro, called infected birds, and launched a 10-kilometer radius probe to contain the spread. And on sports, in a bid to boost morale and inspire excellence, the Lagos State government has pledged instant awards and rewards for athletes who excel at the 22nd National Sports Festival Gateway Games 2024. The Director General of the Lagos State Sports Commission, Lekan Fatodu, made the announcement during a visit to the athletes' camp in Bariga, urging them to stay optimistic and confident ahead of the competition in Ogun State. He added that the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is inspired by excellence and committed to positioning Lagos as a leader in sports. And following a serious injury to Nottingham Forest striker Taiwo Awoniyi, the Professional Footballers Association (PFA) is calling for a change in offside regulations. Awoniyi was placed in an induced coma after emergency abdominal surgery sustained during a collision with the post in a match against Leicester City. The injury occurred after assistant referee Sian Marse Ellis delayed raising the offside flag, prompting concern from the PFA. In response, the PFA, in contact with Awoniyi's family, plans to engage the PGMOL and IFAB to push for earlier stoppages in clear offside situations to prevent similar incidents. And that's it on News Now. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, the truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
When you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it. Use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
في عدد كبير من المتهمين كانوا داخل السجون لفترات طويلة. عشان يحددوا لك الجلسة انت بتكون الليلة كاملة ما نمت. فنحن برضو بنجي نتكلم معاهم وبنطمنهم انه الحاجة اللي ربنا كاتبها لك ما بتفوتك، وانت قعدت زمن طويل ومنتظر اليوم ده. الليلة اليوم ده جاء وانت خليك جاهز له، والزمن اللي بديك له والقاضي ده زمن محدد. انت حاول تذكر فيه كل الأحداث واحكيها بنفس تفاصيلها عشان القاضي يقدر ياخذ قرار في الحاجة دي ويقدر يساعدك.
We hope that the government will prepare an implementation mechanism to ensure that the recommendations of the Judicial Reform Committee are implemented in a graduated manner, subject of course to availability of funds and availability of personnel. But this will lead to a comprehensive development and extension of justice system in this country, which all political parties and all parts of society agree is the utmost necessity of this country.
Welcome to another episode on Startups. I'm Tamilore Akinkwolye. Now, every year, companies and institutions around the world grapple with the growing menace of forged certificates and falsified credentials. But one Nigerian startup is changing the game with an innovative solution, the Akowe app. Now, today we'll dive into the story of a revolutionary app that is tackling the global challenge of document falsification. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Akowe.
Akowe is an online platform designed to reduce the incidence of credential fraud in the job market. We've built out technology that allows employers to be able to instantly verify the authenticity of academic records, as well as technology that allows educators to be able to issue digital certificates easily. My name is Ayodiji Agbola and I'm the founder of Akowe.
Initially, Akowe was funded with a simple mission: to approve and manage certificates for individuals. However, as demand for reliable verification grew, the app evolved into a cutting-edge platform used to confirm the authenticity of credentials and certificates.
The story starts from when we were trying to solve our own problem. We did have a contract in 2018 with Facebook where we were training lots of small business owners on how to use Facebook products for business. And after the training, we need to give certificates. We trained a total of about 70,000 people across 4 years. And you can imagine trying to give certificates to this large number of people. So I decided to build a simple solution that could easily issue these certificates out to these recipients. So we're looking for an English name for this application because I realized that we weren't the only ones who had the problem. There were other Facebook partners who had the same problem. And there were other educators out there who were running trainings and who wanted to issue certificates, and there was a need for a simple tool like what we had built. I was looking for an English name that would work. I just couldn't find any, especially as we wanted to buy a domain name that was appropriate. And we tried so many different English names. And after a lot of frustration not finding an appropriate name, I started to think, okay, maybe we should go indigenous with this. And the name Akowe popped into my head. And simply because of what it describes what the application does. At the time, the application would simply write your name on the certificate and then issue it out to you. So it was an application that writes, right? So that was why I named it Akowe. But it's turned out to be a great name because it's now even doing many other things around academic space, around graduates and the likes. And typically a literate person is what you call an Akowe or a clerk, in the Yoruba language. So that's the story behind that. So shortly after we launched the initial product, which was issuing of certificates, quite a number of our customers started asking, okay, thank you for this, but can you help us verify certificates? And that was obviously not why we built the application in the first place. Then we started looking into that problem, and then we realized that that was even a bigger problem because quite a number of either postgraduate schools or employers had a challenge trying to verify whether this person they're trying to hire, actually has the grade that they say that they do. Because there's no system in place that is quick and fast that can help people, actually get that information. Because what happens is, if you need to verify credentials, you either send someone to the school or you call the school, and that takes a bit of time before you get that answer.
Akowe has quickly gained recognition as a one-in-a-million solution to the global issue of document fraud by allowing companies and universities to verify and upload documents securely. The app has become a trusted tool for maintaining integrity in recruitment, academics, and more.
They just, give themselves a little notch upwards to the next grade. So if you had a second class lower, you would say you have a second class upper. Most people don't go and say they have a first class. They just, go to the next upper grade so that there is a higher chance that an employer could say, okay, you have a good grade, we can hire you. So that's what you find that is very rampant. Many times as well, because there are no systems to easily check, somebody who didn't graduate would have a CV that says they graduated from so-so school. It's so hard to check. So even if you're book smart or whatever it is, you might get hired even if you didn't graduate from school. And then your performance might then start to show that, okay, you said you had this grade, how come your performance is this way? And that's how people have been discovered over the years, to see, okay, your performance doesn't meet what you say you have in your CV. So you have many of those types of different methods that people do often. So with what we have done, which we have aggregated a lot of academic records onto our platform, it means that you can check and you can get information instantly. So for providing that instant information to you, you pay. So to access the system, we allow you some free trials where you can sign up, create an account, go into the platform and check a few names for free. And after that free trial, then you have to pay to continue to access the information. So basically you will pay to search, and then you pay to download a generated report. That generated report is what you can keep in your files as HR department.
While these features have brought much needed efficiency to credential verification, some skeptics have raised concerns about the safety of sensitive data on the server. But Ayodeji, the visionary founder of Akowe, assures users that the app servers are maintained and protected steadily to prevent hacking and data breaches.
Your academic records they're permanent records. once your academic record has been issued by your school, it's a permanent record. It's not supposed to change, right? People change it because of, nefarious reasons. So what we're building out a solution where people can list their academic records on our platform. And because it's supposed to be a permanent record, we use blockchain technology to secure that permanence. It's tamper-proof and all of that. But however, who is to say that what you are listing on the platform is actually authentic? That's why we have multiple ways for actually verifying what you are listing. Once we verify that what you are listing is the same thing that the university has issued, and there are multiple other ways that we can actually verify that information, we then make it tamper-proof on the blockchain. So in essence, what it means is that a person can have their academic dossier on the Akọ̀wé app and their entire education history going backwards or even going forwards, right? So with that, anybody should be able to check this person, which school did they go to for primary school, which school did they go for secondary school, what did they come out from the university with, and things like that. That entire academic history is important information. Right now it's scattered everywhere, and that's why Akọ̀wé is a very collaborative company. We're speaking with people who already work with secondary schools using software to say, hey, there's a lot of education history that you guys have access to. There are people willing to pay to see the education history. Let's collaborate and let's put it out together. So that helps to solve some of those problems.
The app's import doesn't end there. Recognizing a broader need, Akọ̀wé has expanded its services to include undergraduates, enabling their credentials to be confirmed when they apply for loans. This feature is helping young people access opportunities while also ensuring transparency and accountability.
Right now, we're developing 2 new other products that we found that market is asking for, right? Again, people have come to us. We need to verify undergraduates. And something as simple as that, nobody in Nigeria today can do that. If you are an undergraduate, you are in 100 level, you're in 100 level, you're a 200 level student, maybe a bank wants to give you 50% off to be able to buy this laptop. They cannot verify that you are a 200 level undergraduate from this school. It's just, there's no way to do that because there's no system in place that anybody can trust that says that you are actually an undergraduate from the school. Because are you going to bring your ID card? Anybody can make an ID card, right? So we're building a collaborative solution with the universities as well to say, let's be able to verify without a doubt that this person is an undergraduate, is doing microbiology, and is from this school. Next year, we can say, yes, he's still doing microbiology, but he's now in 200 level, right? And that cannot be done in isolation. It has to be a collaborative effort, private partnerships, universities themselves, and then customers from outside can pay to access that.
When asked about government collaboration, Akọ̀wé's leadership remains tight-lipped. However, the app has secured partnership with prominent organizations in Nigeria, a testament to its credibility and trustworthiness.
You really can't execute business without the government. You must register your business as a legal entity. So the government must be aware that you're doing something and what you're doing is legal, right? So, but the challenge has been that Nigeria is very peculiar in the sense that, great ideas often find their ways to the top and often just find a way to be replicated even when you get what I mean. So, and that's happened to us quite a number of times. So we figure that the goal or the objective, or if you're going to win in this market, that's probably not the way to go. We're also aware that the government is also trying to build out similar solutions. And, again, if everybody is trying to solve the same problem, I believe that collaborative efforts get us there faster. Akọ̀wé is very difficult because it's not just B2B, it's B to universities. And if you understand universities, and not just Nigerian universities, universities across the world are not known to drive innovation. They're very slow to move. They're very, very academic, and therefore they're not very easily swayed to move into new technologies, especially African universities. So it's really, really difficult. And what we've been able to do is to show to them that there's a whole lot of revenue. There's a whole lot of innovation that if we work together, we can unlock a lot of revenue for they themselves, the universities, and a lot of ease for their stakeholders, graduates, lecturers, and I mean, for instance, it takes forever to get a transcript, even as of today. Like, why? Why should it take forever? The technology is there, the data is available, we just need to be able to work together. So the biggest challenge has always been that being able to work with universities in a way that technology would be the solution end to end.
One of the company's greatest milestones came on the global stage. Akaway's effort to bridge the gap in document verification earned them recognition at a prestigious event in the States, where they were celebrated for their innovative approach to a global problem.
I would say when we were invited to pitch at TechCrunch Startup Battlefield in the USA, it was 2023. You know, we had applied for the program in around April, and I promptly forgot about it, you know. And then in August, I got an email to say, hooray, you're welcome. We're inviting you to the US to come and pitch your startup on a global stage. And that was a great milestone because for Akaway to have been chosen out of about 3,000 global applications, and they chose only 200, that was a great morale booster that, okay, we're solving something really global here. And TechCrunch, and if you know TechCrunch is a global brand, right? You know, so that was validation for us. And that also helped us to realize that it was not a Nigerian problem, because standing on the stage in San Francisco, talking to a global audience about the problem you're solving from Nigeria, you had to find a way to make them relate to it. And there was a great aha moment where people realized that I'm from India, I have the same problem. I'm from Pakistan, I have the same problem. You know, so that was a great moment for us to actually see that, okay, we are onto something here.
On the African front, Akaway has established a partnership with a company in Kenya, marking the beginning of its expansion across the continent. This collaboration underscores the app's mission to make the world a better place, one credential at a time.
Absolutely. So we have a partnership right now where that partner already sells credential verification in Kenya. And once that partnership has been finalized, it means that Akaway will be able to provide credential verification for Kenyans. So if you are a Nigerian trying to hire a Kenyan, you'll be able to come on our platform and verify that Kenyan based off of that partnership that we have. And it's a two-way thing. So that partner also will be able to access all of the records that we have in West Africa to be able to sell. So collaborations like that help us scale very quick. And this is not just a problem we're trying to solve for Nigeria alone. So think about West Africa, East Africa. The problem exists across sub-Saharan Africa, basically, and many parts of the world as well that are not on the African continent. So we want to make sure we focus on the first iteration. If it's good enough and people like it and people seem to find value in it, I think it then begins easily scale. Okay. Earlier we talked about the Benin Republic and issues that are happening there. We are in conversations with companies in Benin Republic where we're trying to say, this is our solution. We want to bring it into the country and actually help solve that problem. You know, so already we see that the problems exist, and with digital technologies, you know, you can scale and solve those problems at scale. But you have to get it right. And once you get it right, it's easily replicable, you know, across countries.
Looking to the future, Akaway has bigger plans. The team is exploring opportunities to extend their services to secondary schools, focusing on reducing the alarming rates of fake results in WAEC and JAMB. This move will revolutionize the education system and provide a foundation for a more transparent academic process. Welcome back. Now, global financial services often present daunting challenges for businesses in emerging markets, from arbitrary compliance thresholds to perceived risks and sudden service disruptions. Now, businesses frequently face obstacles that hinder their ability to scale and grow. Today, we turn our focus to a company revolutionizing cross-border payments and financial accessibility. Let's dive into the story of Waza and its groundbreaking platform, Link.
Waza is the B2B payments platform for emerging market businesses. We're helping businesses to make global payments, or to, I would say, to source FX liquidity to pay their suppliers and vendors globally. We've recently launched a product called Link, which is infusing this great FX liquidity product that we offer customers in a banking experience, right? And so our customers now have better control over their money, and they can make payments globally from a dashboard. They can access FX liquidity, get great rate, access different payment methods. I'm Maxwell Obi. I'm the CEO of Waza.
Registered in the United States as a money service business, Waza specializes in foreign exchange and money transmission. Since launching its start in January 2023, the company has partnered with financial powerhouses like Visa and Currency Cloud to deliver payment services and account issuance. In just 1 year, Waza has served hundreds of businesses, processing an impressive $700 million in annualized payment volume while facilitating payments across 6 continents.
Waza is the B2B payments platform for emerging market businesses. We're helping businesses to make global payments, or to, I would say, to source FX liquidity to pay their suppliers and vendors globally. We've recently launched a product called Link, which is infusing this great FX liquidity product that we offer customers in a banking experience, right? And so our customers now have better control over their money, and they can make payments globally from a dashboard. They can access FX liquidity, get great rate, access different payment methods.
But Waza is not stopping there. To address the unique challenges faced by businesses in emerging markets, Waza recently introduced a new product called Link. Designed as a viable alternative to existing financial solutions, Link offers multi-currency. These accounts enable payments to more than 100 countries and are equipped with robust features that extend beyond traditional wallets.
There's a big void that Link is feeling in the market, because traditional banks haven't been able to cater to the needs of these businesses over time. They have an outsized perception of risks for businesses that operate in higher risk jurisdictions like emerging markets in Africa, Southeast Asia, etc. And so we decided to plug that gap by launching Link, which is, it's not a different brand, but it's a different product under the same brand, right? And so it's still solving B2B payments from the perspective of FX and now banks. Small businesses, startups, other financial institutions, corporates, even large organizations can use Link. I would say if you have a need to operate in the global market, or you have a need for international banking, and you're operating an emerging market, automatically you will be perceived as high risk, and we are the alternative, we are the go-to for you. So that's our target, right? And that's from a customer segmentation standpoint. If you take a wider scan from a market perspective, we want to look at markets that have a lot of cross-border activity and a lot of buzzing startup ecosystem, right, or startup activity. Even as we target corporates and large multinationals, right, or even if large corporates and enterprises are part of the customer segment, they are not our sole target. We know that startups are also super affected. So we want them to also bank on Link. We want them to come get their multi-currency accounts, do exchange, and just use us as a de facto banking platform to make payments to their vendors and suppliers globally.
What sets Link apart is its comprehensive payment support. This ensures businesses with operations across the globe, which can efficiently manage their payments and focus exchange liquidity on a single platform.
Most people that have tried to provide multi-currency platforms approach it from a mature market mindset. We're taking a very localized approach, paying attention to emerging market businesses that cannot access international banking services. If you take a quick look at what happened last year, banks like Mercury, fintech banks, or other financial institutions like Mercury, SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, began to shut down businesses that have either directors or UBUs in emerging markets that deem high risks, right? So it's not, we on the other hand have provided this service with a keen eye for streamlined compliance processes, speed, and cost, right? If you can bank with these guys, you can bank with us. And not only have we streamlined that compliance process for you, we can now give you can deliver your payments very fast within the same day. FX, yes, is a great value prop there, but it is not the entire thing. Transaction fees, we don't charge a monthly transaction fee, it's really cheap. Eventually, as we launch more features and evolve the product, there will be more customer segments unlocked, right? We're thinking about building APIs that will cater to other financial institutions that want to build on top of our infrastructure. And when we think about B2B payments, which is our core focus, it's usually happening in the context of trade. And trade can be seen as an ecosystem. There's a supply side, there's a demand side. So there are other things we will launch that will also cater to suppliers in different jurisdictions and unlock new customer segments. But today, businesses, importers, exporters, corporates, startups would be our ideal customer target.
Importantly, Waza clarifies that it is not a bank. Instead, the company partners with banks that are adhere to strict rules and regulations in each country of operation. This strategic approach ensures compliance while maintaining flexibility and innovation.
First, Waza or Link is not a bank, we're a technology company. And so all of these services are provided in partnership with licensed financial institutions. So we've been able to build on top, I would say, really strict compliance protocols and whatever other value services that they can offer. Today, we're making great progress we want to launch interest on deposits, financing. These are all value-added services that makes us stand out, right?